Welcome to Big Boss Builder. I hope you enjoy this content. It's my passion to bring to you years worth of knowledge in the entrepreneurial game. If you're loving this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and please watch this video all the way through to the end. Hope you enjoyed this video. Today, we're going to go through closing techniques. I need to preface here that I can't reference where I've learned all these things from. The benefit of a career in sales prior to becoming an entrepreneur is you get so much training and you read so much different material from so many different sources that unfortunately you jumble where you've learned things from. Closing techniques are imperative to an organization. Most people do the perfect job of presenting the product, of presenting the service, but just don't ask for the business. The reality is, if you don't ask for it, they're not going to give it to you. No one's going to chase you to give you their money. The first and most important close you're ever going to learn is, Mr. and Mrs. Client, would you like to proceed? It's as simple as that, and it sounds ridiculous, but the amount of people I've trained who talk so eloquently, who present the perfect picture and never quite ask the client to proceed is ridiculous. The simple point is this: a client feels a wall in front of them before every single decision. They try to avoid any responsibility for mistakes or success, because even in their pursuit of success, that element of failure always holds them back. And if you don't ask them to put themselves at that uncomfortable understanding of as to whether they go ahead or not, they simply will avoid the conversation altogether, both internally and with their respective partners, be it business or personal. You have to ask the client how to do it. But what you also have to do is allow the client to get rid of the outside noise. Bring things down to very simple understandings of yes or no. The first technique I like to use, if you don't have the courage to simply ask the question, is what's called an alternate choice close. Mrs. and Mrs. Client, what's your favorite color, red or blue? Blue. What's your actual favorite color? Green. The reality is, when you present two options, it narrows down the scope of their thought process. People like simple choices. There's a restaurant in Parramatta, which I used to go to, and I used to hate because they had 15, 16 pages of menu choices. You're there at the restaurant to eat, have a good time, and engage with your friends, not to read a narrative. You want to simply order your food and proceed. A menu of 8 to 9 options is sufficient based on the kind of food I'm trying to choose. Yes or no, red or green, blue or red. 2 choices. Mr. and Mrs. Client, would you like to meet up Thursday or Friday, Tuesday or Wednesday? Oh, I can't meet any of those days. Which day would be ideal? They haven't said yes or no. They've said Tuesday, Wednesday. I can't make Tuesday, Wednesday. Fantastic. If you said yes to a meeting, you don't even know it. How about Thursday or Saturday then? I suppose Thursday I'm free. Morning or afternoon? Don't present the yes or no in that scenario. Just present alternate choices. Let them think not yes or no. Let them think Tuesday or Thursday. Alternate choice close is extremely effective. The other one is the order blank close. Make an assumption things are going ahead, start filling out paperwork. I used to do this in terms of referrals. While doing my referral hot button closes, I used to write down names of the clients they mentioned that we could then help. But I used to give it to them in a list of 10 to 15 different names. The reality is, if you're in an exam, you get asked a question: what is the color of this pen? If you are provided one small line, you write the word blue. But if you receive 16 different lines to answer that same question, you find yourself filling out the color of this pen is blue. The more lines, the more you fill out. Therefore, even though I've only allocated 3 or 4 different people for you to refer to me, I gave you a list of 10, and most clients will get their phone out and try to fill out as much as humanly possible. It's ingrained in us as human beings when we're taught short answer and long answer responses. That's called an order blank close. If people go through the effort of doing the work, they'll find it very hard pressed to walk away from it because they think that's already done anyway. The other thing we like to do is a higher authority close. People like to feel like they're getting a deal. We make it a part of our process to ensure a higher authority close in most of my companies. And the reality of that is, it makes the client feel better, and it actually also allows us to track what's going on and what's being said to our clients. So if a client comes to us and says, I prefer to do it at this cost, my salespeople don't have the authority to sit there and say, okay, that cost is sufficient. That cost is sufficient. They're instead forced to call up one of their managers. the manager has that authority, but what allows them to do is say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, I'm gonna call my manager to see if you wish to proceed. But if I call them and I get a price for you, they're gonna expect me to come home with that deal. So if I get you that price and I call my manager, would you be in a position to go ahead? If their response is yes, then the deal is 99% done. Then you call the manager and the manager goes, Mr. and Mrs. Client, I'm happy to do it for you on the condition that you also give us 2 referrals or set up a testimonial on our Google AdWords page. The reality is the client feels better. The buyer's remorse goes away. They've gotten something better than what they're expected. But also the reality here is the managers have the opportunity to engage with them. And by giving them something, we can actually also ask for something back. The client is happy, the company's happy. It's an extremely important tool to make the client feel like they've got what they need out of the case. I've got 52 other closing techniques I'm going to share with you guys at some point or another, but let's focus on those for now. But above anything else, if you can avoid all these techniques, stop the client from getting in their own way by just simply saying, Mr. and Mrs. Client, do you wish to proceed? I assure you that is the best close you're ever going to do. It's uncomfortable. Push yourselves outside that comfort and do what you need to do, because professionals do as they must, not as they wish. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you next week.